It's Chance and Fallon taking the stage. Deep dives ready to engage. Conversations that spark the soul, where stories unfold and make you whole. The Chance and Fallon show's the place to be. Talking about the world and what we need to see. Tune in now, don't miss a beat. Articulation Media's got you on your feet.
Welcome to the Chance and Fallon Show.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole mountain of information, notes, research, articles, and we just distill it down to the core insights you need.
So you can be informed fast.
Exactly. And today we're diving into something that on the surface feels like a contradiction. We're looking at how really rigorous professional expertise.
We're talking decades of it.
In
very regulated fields.
Right. How that is being perfectly disguised as fun and purposeful children's literature.
It's a fascinating subject. We're focusing on the author Jessica Nicole McAnelly, and that tension you just mentioned. That's what makes this whole thing so compelling.
Yeah.
How do you take these dense, sometimes life or death protocols from food safety and, sanitation and turn them into stories that actually connect with toddlers?
It seems impossible. It's a real feat of narrative engineering.
It is.
I mean, just think about the two worlds we're trying to connect. On one hand, you've got public health regulations, clinical nutrition guidelines,
HACCP plans, all that jargon.
all of it. And on the other hand, you have rhyming books with a cheerful little blue bird. It really requires an author with a totally unique background.
And that's where the sources immediately build her credibility. McAnelly is not just a storyteller who did a bit of research. She is, first and foremost, a dedicated food safety professional.
Okay, but it's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What makes her background so potent is the combination. She's also a registered dietitian, an RD.
And a registered sanitarian. An RS.
Exactly.
Okay, let's just pause on that for a second, because for you, the listener, that stack of credentials is the whole engine behind this series. What does that combination actually give her?
Well, it means she's looking at health from three different but deeply connected angles.
Mm-hmm.
The registered dietitian part gives her the clinical nutrition knowledge.
Balanced meals, metabolism, all that.
Right. Then the food safety professional role means she understands the operational side, how food systems actually work in hospitals or big commercial kitchens. And the registered sanitarian credential, which people often overlook, that means she gets the regulatory and environmental side. Sanitation, public health, preventing disease on a community level.
So she's teaching health from the plate, the code book, and the kitchen itself, all at once.
That's it. That depth is what guarantees the lessons in her books aren't just, vague suggestions. They're actual best practices, vetted by professional standards.
So our mission today is to really analyze how she does this, how she executes this translation in her Birdie book series. We want to unpack the strategies she's using to make these huge, essential life skills feel joyful and actionable.
And if we dig into that professional background a bit more, her 2 decades in the field.
That's a long time.
A very long time. And it's all been spent developing, implementing, managing these really robust programs.
The kind that have to meet the absolute highest standards.
The highest. We're talking healthcare, regulatory, huge food service sectors. This isn't small-scale stuff. When you read her books, you're essentially getting 20 years of her field experience just synthesized.
Which is the foundation. That's the bedrock. But the genius, and the sources really point this out, is in the philosophy she uses to deliver it.
Right.
She gets that you can't just lecture a 4-year-old on FDA guidelines. Her whole thing is that the most powerful lessons are lived, laughed through, and lovingly repeated.
It's the difference between just telling someone a rule and letting them experience it. She's not saying this is a rule. She's showing, look, this is what Birdie does when she's having fun.
So the lesson gets absorbed, not just memorized.
Exactly. It becomes embodied learning.
That's the perfect lens to look at her first title, Birdie's Cooking Class, a tasty take on cooking fun. Because when you look at what's actually being taught here, it is so much more than a typical kid's cookbook.
Oh, absolutely. This book is a masterclass in blending that technical rigor with developmental skills.
Okay, so on the technical side,
she's covering essential sanitation, washing hands, or, wings in Birdie's case, and keeping the prep area clean. But she frames these regulatory things inside fun activities.
Like measuring ingredients, stirring, tasting, the fun stuff.
The fun stuff. But she also, and this is crucial, integrates safety. That's paramount in her professional world.
Right. So she's talking about handling kitchen tools carefully.
And how to stir without making a huge mess, how to understand the kitchen is a shared space. It requires you to pay attention.
And this is where the RD and the food safety professional parts really come through.
They shine. The book is introducing basic math concepts like scaling and measurement right alongside preventing cross-contamination and exploring healthy choices. It's all seamless.
So the core themes are what? Safety and creativity.
Safety, creativity, confidence, and just a sprinkle of responsibility.
I like that. The sources also really stress that the book is designed as a tool for parents and educators too, not just for the kid reading it.
Yes. It's meant to turn the kitchen, which can be kind of a restricted zone, into a shared learning space. The big takeaway is she's not just teaching cooking. She's subtly setting up these huge concepts of responsibility, teamwork, and even environmental health right there in the family.
Okay, let's move on to the newest release. The one that's really cemented her reputation for this blend of rigor and story. Birdie's Picnic Party. A tasty take on food safety.
Which just came out in August 2025.
And this one is a perfect case study. It takes a really high-risk regulatory idea, preventing foodborne illness, and makes it totally universal.
The picnic, it seems so simple, but from a food safety angle, it's surprisingly complex. You've got transportation, you've got temperature control, you're managing rando things from the environment, and you're holding food for a long time. In my world, we call that the danger zone for bacterial growth.
The danger zone.
And McAnelly had to basically distill that entire concept into a story about a party.
So how does she do it? How does she simplify it without losing the integrity of the lesson? Because understanding that mechanism is key for you, the listener.
She relies a lot on metaphor and just on the character's actions. The sources point out these critical lessons woven right in. Washing paws and wings.
Which is a great way to talk about hand hygiene.
It's memorable, and it's the #1 defense against foodborne illness. But she also tackles temperature control.
Which has to be the hardest part in a picnic.
Absolutely. And the sources just praise how she makes this abstract idea of keeping cold foods cold feel simple and actionable. She's basically teaching the core principles of temperature monitoring.
Without using any of that language.
None of it. She's teaching kids that cold food needs protection, that it has to be handled the safe way. She's teaching them to manage control points.
And this is where we see the praise for it, proving the format actually works. Laura O'Toole, in her review, said the tips are woven into a story rather than just being a list of rules.
Which is huge.
And because of that, she said the book naturally sparked conversation. That's not just learning, that's behavioral modification through a story. It's so much more effective.
That's the real metric of success for this kind of literature. Did it actually change behavior? Did it make the child want to be part of the safety process? And the answer here is just a clear yes. And to really get from knowledge to behavior, the learning has to be active. It can't just be passive.
You can't just read it and put it away.
Exactly. And that brings us to this crucial element that makes the book a working tool. The interactive bonus features at the end.
Right. The end of Birdie's Picnic Party has a special activity page and safety checklist. And that's the moment the book jumps off the page and into your real life.
And that checklist is genius. It's absolutely genius because it taps right into a child's psychology. Kids want agency. They want control.
So instead of the parent barking orders,
the child is empowered. They have a Birdie-approved task list. It turns what could be a chore into a game.
We have some really powerful anecdotal evidence for this. A parent named Alex noted their kids laughed at the silly moments and didn't even realize they were learning.
Which is that laugh through part of her philosophy in action.
Perfectly executed. But the feedback that really shows the transformation came from a parent, Joey Fort, who called the checklist genius because it made their kids ask to have a Birdie-style picnic that weekend.
Wow.
They weren't just reading the book, they were actually enacting the safety measures from it.
So when a kid is asking to proactively practice sanitation protocols,
you know you've done something right. The book has successfully bridged that gap between a story and reality. Reading becomes this immediate, desired action. The professional rigor becomes their own internal script.
And the sources point this out again and again. The series is seen as a sophisticated teaching tool wrapped in fun. It reinforces these foundational public health values.
And its success means it's not just in homes. It's being picked up by classrooms, by school libraries all over the country.
Which speaks volumes. Getting into educational systems like that, it's a direct nod to the book's integrity and credibility. And that all ties directly back to McAnelly's professional credentials.
So this series is really setting a new bar for how deep expertise can drive education that's accessible. And that influence isn't just staying on the printed page. She's strategically expanding her reach.
Absolutely, she gets it. To reach a wide audience, you have to be where parents and educators are already looking for good resources. We saw this just this year in January 2026. She was a guest on the Articulation radio show.
And that interview, which was hosted by the indie vocalist Goddess Sage, it wasn't just, let's read your book. It was a real intellectual discussion.
Right. They talked about creative inspiration, the importance of starting food safety education early, and just the power of story to bridge hard science with a child's imagination.
It positions her as a thought leader in this space.
And she backs up that digital presence with real, grassroots, in-person events, which is so important for building trust with families and local educators.
Yeah, we see the strategy of connecting directly with readers, like that special morning event she held at the Starry Emporium and Bookshop on January 22nd. It wasn't just a signing, it was specifically designed to get families to bring the littles for a really interactive educational experience.
That consistency of showing up, whether it's at the Inkling Books author event or planning for things like the second Saturday author signings at the Patrick Heath Public Library.
For Valentine's Day, I saw that one.
Right. It just shows parents that these lessons aren't abstract. They're easy and applicable to your actual daily life.
And looking ahead, she'll be at the Hill Country Literary Festival in March, right alongside other local authors. So she's actively working to bring her specialized knowledge into the broader literary and educational community. It's a really smart, multi-channel approach.
And for anyone listening who wants to follow this model blending expertise with outreach, her digital presence is a great case study. She's active on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn.
All of them.
So she's reaching parents looking for storytime ideas, but also educators and other professionals who need credible public health communication tools. She's teaching the public and modeling for her peers at the same time.
Yeah.
So to kind of wrap this all up, what Jessica Nicole McAnelly's work really represents is a new standard for purpose-driven children's literature.
Yeah.
It's literature where the fun, the entertainment value is matched and validated by this incredible level of professional expertise. Food safety professional, registered dietitian, registered sanitarian. That credibility is what makes the lesson so foundational, so actionable, and so impactful.
And that is the essential takeaway for you. You now understand the professional depth that is underpinning this, seemingly simple, joyful series of books. She takes these dry, bureaucratic, regulatory standards and distills them into a lovable bluebird character.
Making these essential life lessons about kitchen safety and public health just instantly accessible and fun.
So if we look at the broader picture here, it raises a really important question for you to think about. If these critical, complex life skills like temperature control, sanitation, kitchen preparedness, if they can be taught so successfully through a fun story with characters like Birdie,
then what other challenging or essential areas of public health could be transformed this way? Or even other fields of professional knowledge, maybe finance or engineering or ecology?
What could be fundamentally changed by applying that same principle of blending deep, credible expertise with playful, memorable storytelling?
What specialized knowledge do you have that could use a friendly messenger?
Think about the narrative architecture you would need to make the dry parts of your field lived, laughed through, and lovingly repeated. In the meantime, you can explore more about her books and the philosophy that guides her work at jessicanicolemcanellybooks.com. Thanks for taking the deep dive with us.
It's Chance and Fallon taking the stage. Deep dives ready to engage. Conversations that spark the soul, where stories unfold and make you whole. The Chance and Fallon show's the place to be. Talking about the world and what we need to see. Tune in now, don't miss a beat. Articulation Media's got you on your feet. From big ideas to the small Chance and